Hi everybody, I have big news regarding Express Entry and I can't wait to share the news with you guys. So on November 19, 2016, changes are going to be implemented to the CRS points on the Express Entry. And what are the two major changes? First, more points will be given to Canadian post-secondary graduates. So people who study in Canada on a college or university can receive more points, can receive extra points on top of the ones that they already received until now. And the second one, the changes are going to give less points to applicants who have valid job offers, but in most situations, in many cases, the LMIA is going to be no longer a requirement for that job offer, which is a very good news. Okay, so regarding the first one, and I'm going to read exactly the information I have now. Of course, as the time is going to pass, the day is going to pass, and more and more information about this is going to come out, and I'm going to of course transmit that to you, but I'm going to read the information I have right now regarding those two major changes to the CRS point system on Express Entry that are going to be implemented on November 19, 2016. So regarding the Canadian education points changes, if the person graduated from a Canadian post-secondary program that was 1 to 2 years in length, he or she will obtain an extra 15 CRS points. Extra 15 points on top of the number of points that the person was already getting on the Express Entry, on the CRS points of the Express Entry, okay? If the person graduated from a Canadian post-secondary program that was 3 years in length or more, 3 years or more, he or she will obtain an extra 30 CRS points on top of the ones that they were already getting. If the person graduating from a Canadian post-secondary program with a master's degree or a PhD, he or she will obtain an extra 30 CRS points as well. Okay, and there's a note here saying that Canadian secondary school graduation or English as a second language or French as a second language studies do not qualify the person for any points in this section. Okay, so this is the first major change. So extra points for people who study in Canada, graduated a post-secondary program that was 1 or 2 years in length, so 15 extra points, 3 years in length or more, so 30 extra points, or master's or PhD in Canada, so 30 extra points as well. Okay, so graduating from a high school in Canada or studying English as a second language or French as a second language does not count. Okay, so about the second change, about the job offer, the number of points, like I said, is going to be decreased significantly. Until now, a candidate with a valid job offer of employment will be given 600 points, which was huge, right? But at the same time, to receive those 600 points, the person, that job offer had to be supported by an LMIA, Labor Market Impact Assessment, which is a document that the employer has to apply for, which is basically an authorization to be able to hire a person who's not a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. And that document is difficult to obtain, and most employers don't want to have to go through that hassle or don't even know how to apply for that. And this major change on the valid job offer of employment would at the same time decrease the number of points that is given for a person who has a job offer of employment, and at the same time is going to scrape in most situations that requirement of an LMIA. So now in most situations, and in next couple of days, that's going to become more clear in what situations this apply for. But it seems, with the information I have here, it seems that employers who no longer need to apply for that LMIA in order for that job offer to be considered valid for the express entry, for that, so that the applicant receives those extra points. Okay, so candidate's going to receive less points than those 600, but it's going to be easier to obtain a job offer of employment. Okay, and how much is that decrease? Well, it says here that if a foreign national has a qualifying offer of arranged employment, they may be assigned points as follow: 200 points if the offer for employment is an occupation contained in major group 00 of the national occupation classification, and the major group 00 are senior management positions. So you guys have a reference of who can receive those 200 points for a valid job offer of employment, or 50 points if the offer is any other qualifying offer of arranged employment. Okay, so if the job offer you have, it's not for a senior management position, so not the group 00, not of the NOC, you receive 50 points instead of the 600 points. You receive only 50 points. And if it's a senior management position, so you receive 200 points. The major difference here has to do with LMIAs and the definition of a qualifying job offer, where it appears that the point system to be implemented on November 19 will specify that an LMIA is not a mandatory requirement. And this is great news. Like I said, it seems that after November 19, the LMIA is no longer going to be a requirement for a job offer to be considered valid for the express entry. So it's going to be easier for applicants to receive those extra points, even though it's going to be less points than those 600, but it's going to be easier for applicants to receive those extra points, as the employers don't need to go through that LMIA process, right? So these are the two major changes that were announced recently. I'm going to put the link on the description of all that information so you guys can check them out for yourselves as well. And like I said, next couple of days, information probably is going to become more and more clear, more and more information about this, and of course I'll keep you guys updated. So great news for Canadian post-secondary graduates who receive extra points on top of the ones they already had. And even though the number of points for job offer is going to be decreased significantly, it seems that the LMA requirement for that job offer is going to be scraped. It's going to be taken away. LMA is no longer going to be a requirement, so it's going to be a lot easier to receive extra points for a valid offer of employment. So I'll keep you guys updated of any new information about this, and see you guys on my next videos.